You are listening to the Everything Goes podcast.
Oh, we're recording.
You can just edit that out, I guess.
Nah, we're going to put it in, bro. We're going to leave it in for all the softies out there. Dupree. All the people that need hugs and stuff. Yeah. Hey, let me start off with this, Josh. How was you were in the motherland for like a month, bro. How was that shit, bro? We just haven't had you in a while. And I haven't asked you basically that much about it other than what your boy said.
Yeah, it was
you were roughing it out, bro.
I know, dude. It's crazy, man. Well, it's crazy because it kind of, it's a perfect segue into the podcast.
Yeah.
But tough times. I heard this recently. It's been going around recently, right? But tough times make like tough men.
Yeah.
Right. And like good, easy times make soft men, right? So there was something else where I read that, it takes like a couple generations to gain some level of wealth or business, whatever, to success. And then it takes one fucking generation, right? Like your kid, your grandkid or his kid, to just like fuck it all up.
Makes sense.
So to go back to your question, it was beautiful, dude. It was beautiful, but my kid doesn't know how good he has it.
Yeah.
So
no, we're gonna talk about
funny,
that,
dude. It's so funny because everywhere you go in the world now, I feel like for the most part, maybe I'm wrong, but there's like really like nice luxury places, right? And when you're going and you're going with the dollar, the exchange rate is high, right? So you can afford more things than you would here. Like you can afford a 5-star hotel, for example, in Guatemala will cost you say like $200-300 a night, versus a 5-star hotel here is like $600-700 a night, right?
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at. And so you're like over there, you're like fucking literally you're going to places where I'm the youngest person there and people are looking at us like, what the fuck are those people doing there?
You're
They're
rich,
the youngest
bro.
family, right? Because you're the youngest family there. Everyone else is like older and their kids are older and stuff. So
they're like my age.
no, yeah, but I mean, like they're like just or older, dude, even older, like 50s. You can see kind of like it's a different. But it's beautiful. It's nice. It's good to be able to experience that, dude. It was really nice out there.
You mentioned that you went to Guatemala for a month, right?
Almost.
Just for the listeners, just because I didn't mention that, I said the motherland, but that ain't your motherland though.
That's not my motherland. No, my motherland's here, right? Like the U.S. But it's so funny because I know very little of the U.S., dude.
Really?
Like I haven't really traveled the U.S.
I want to travel the U.S. more.
I want to travel the U.S.
I think we're gonna set up a trip to go to somewhere in Pennsylvania in April. Just want to do something different, bro.
There's a lot of beautiful places here if you think about it. Here in North America, dude, you got like Canada's beautiful. You got Niagara Falls. You got New York, Sonoma, the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Tahoe. Sanford. I mean, dude, you got like so many places on the U.S. here. Historical places that are beautiful. Sequoia, the Ozarks.
Where's that?
Out in what is this, like the central United States? It's like around. It's like one of the biggest like river. It crosses like 3 states and shit. There's a show on Netflix about it, but yeah.
Even the Colorado River, bro.
Colorado River, yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
San Francisco. I did mention San Francisco. I do want to visit there. I want to go out there. The Rock.
San Francisco's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, kind of, you said all these things. I kind of blanked out because I started thinking. I was like, damn.
Oh, you were asking me about what was it, like Guatemala, the motherland?
Yeah, but no, how was that though? Like for a month, how did you go through it, bro? Because the one story I did hear is how you guys roughed it out in the jungle from your son.
So it's funny, right? Because everywhere you go, like he's like, oh yeah, we're living it up. Oh, we're living it up, right? Like we went to Mexico earlier in the year, and then we ended up going to like this little cabin, Tulum. Like it was in Tulum, so it was like this little place with like, it's like glamping basically, right? So it's crazy for him because he's used to staying at these fucking AC, hot water, like all these places where like, they're nice, like fucking room service and shit and all this. And then you go to this place. So we ended up going to Guatemala, right? Yeah. And then we went to this one place So we kind of we didn't like pre-book everything.
Yeah.
We said, what we're going to do is we're going to go over there, get the first couple nights at a place that's pretty close to the capital, Antigua. And it's a really beautiful, nice, town that has a lot of history back from when I believe it was like the Spanish, were colonizing and shit, all of that, So there's a lot of like Spanish influence in the buildings and everything, and they've kept it pretty historic. But essentially, like, we're there for a couple days. It's a nice place. We go, do some couple like coffee tours, nice fucking restaurants the entire time, whatever. We rented a car and stuff. And then, we're like, where should we, when we're there, we're like, depending on how we feel, we'll have to, we'll decide and we'll just book something. Yeah. Right. So we're like, all right, let's book something over here. Right. Let's go over here. We're going to do this now. All right. So we book something, bam. We end up driving over there. Cool, nice place, whatever. But then one of those times they told me, hey, Josh, like book something, right?
Yeah.
For the next place we're going to, right?
Yeah.
And you're kind of traveling all of Guatemala, It's not just like you're traveling from town to town. You're traveling to like the biggest, tourist places, right? So I end up getting something, dude, that looks really fucking nice on like booking.com, right?
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is like the app where you can get
Yeah.
hotels. So it's like, it looks real fucking nice, dude. Like, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is nice. So I book it, and they're like, trust it, it has like 4.5 stars or whatever, or 4 stars, like has really good reviews and stuff. And then we end up going there. But the trip, Google Maps tells you one thing, but you don't realize it's out in other countries, like, that shit's not as accurate when it comes to time, like estimating time, right? Yeah. It's not like here, it tells you 2 hours, you're going to be there in pretty much 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it says fucking 7-8 hours, and it turns into like 10 hours. It says 7-8 hours for like 3 hours. It doesn't fucking move.
Yeah.
Right? Because this traffic either keeps piling up or the road's fucked up. There's only one lane in each way. These countries are so underdeveloped, in certain regions and stuff. And so you don't know what to expect, dude. Like, at one part it's like fucking raining, and then there was like a what is it called? Like a rock slide, and then traffic is fucking stuck. Or you don't hear about this shit because here in America you don't hear a lot about like international news and stuff. But trucks are always crashing into each other. People are always dying because they're trying to pass each other, the truck drivers. And we actually saw an accident on our way to that place, right, where I booked the thing. So we drive 8-9 hours in the car. We're fucking exhausted, right? We pull over to have lunch for an hour to stretch our legs out. The nicest thing, the McDonald's over there is super nice, but that's a whole different other story. We get to the place, and then you have to get on a boat. You have to get on a lancha.
Oh shit!
Right? You have to get on a little boat once you get there after a 9-hour ride with all your luggage and shit, right? Yeah. With rain in the forecast, and it had rained. At like 9 o'clock at night in a natural, like wild fucking lake, right? Where there's like crocodiles. Where else is there? There's this one.
There's got to be snakes out there too.
There's for sure. There's water snakes and shit. There's this other thing called manatees. I think there's manatees there and stuff.
What is it? I've heard of it. It's like a stingray?
No, it's like a type of seal type of thing. It looks like a sea lion type of shit. It's kind of, but like dolphin mix. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It's a weird thing.
I've heard of it.
And so we get there, we get on the lancha, and then in the middle of the night, you're crossing this fucking huge lake, right? Like it's dark. It stopped raining for that minute. And then sure enough, as soon as we kind of take off all the stuff, we land at the dock where the place is at. And the place, listen, the setting, the whole place, everything, the experience is beautiful. Like if we would have gone with like a bunch of homies.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? But so just you get an image of the suite that we got. It was like a 3-4 bedroom suite that we ended up getting. We don't even fucking need a suite, right? I didn't even know. But it's all literally, dude, like there's no AC in it. There's fans. There's mosquito nets in every room because every room is like its own thing.
Yeah.
So every room has like a mosquito net type thing around the room. But the main areas and the rest of the area is all exposed, like just wood. Right. So it's all exposed to like nature, dude. And and I kid you not, the suite is like it's a little cabana or house that is on like a dock or a raised foundation type of thing that is on top of the lake water in the middle of the fucking jungle, more or less.
Damn.
And so you show up in the middle of the night, and then as soon as we're getting there, it starts raining. And then there's so because of that, it's kind of like the place is it was a little dusty. It wasn't like fresh clean. And,
So,
we didn't go during like a crazy season. And we got there at night. So it wasn't like we could fucking call room service and be like, come get us. We're fucking tired, Like, it was like my kid shows up and then my kid is like really upset, dude. He's like, how could you? And I'm having a blast, dude. I'm looking at this guy and I'm just like teasing him, I'm like, we're going to have an amazing time. Don't worry about it. And he's like, dude, we're roughing it. What is this? How could you bring me here? Like, Bobby, he's just upset, dude. And I was like, dude, listen, this is what makes memories, man. Relax, Yeah. You're going to, because of how crazy this is, you're always going to remember this moment. Right? I said to him, I remember being in bed because they couldn't even sleep. And dude, it started fucking storming like a fucking storm rain, bro. And the house, the roof is made out of like what the Indian fucking people used to make their roofs out of, which is that not the Mayan, the fucking like some kind of leaf. Okay. Almost like a banana leaf. It's not a banana leaf, but it's like a type of leaf and shit.
It's like these big ass leaves, right?
Big ass leaves and shit. And it's pounding, bro. Mind you, everything's open, so you hear everything, It's not like having your window open. It's like having your whole fucking house just be on posts, Think about it that way. And so, yeah, that was fun, dude. At one point I was kind of worried in the middle of the night. Plus, when you're not a local, you don't really know what the fuck is going on, right? Yeah. You think you're on a river, but you're actually like at the mouth of the ocean, lake, river type of thing. And so the water, doesn't matter how much it rains, right? It's like you're at sea level. Yeah. So there's no water the water is flowing in from way far in the back, and so it's not going to elevate, and there's no like crazy current, right? So the town, nothing's going to happen to you, right? But in the middle of the night, you're like, shit, dude, you're shitting your pants, dude.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I was a little worried. I'm not going to lie. At one point, nobody really slept good that night. It was fucking crazy, bro.
You guys busted an Indiana Jones, bro.
It was fun. It was really fun though. This place was beautiful. Very therapeutic. It would have been good to go with like, again, homies and like,
Even when you're younger, and just imagine that. Just everything you said, if you would have been younger, maybe like 20 years ago, God, that would have been an adventure, bro.
100%. 100%.
But now,
are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, now with luxuries, everything you said, I understand because my kids, oh man, they live the life, bro.
Yeah.
You take away the power cord, you take away the fucking tablets and all that shit.
And they don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I could see why it would get scary, bro. I mean, dude, I told you, I don't know if I told you the story when we were going to Vegas one time, like 2 years ago, and it was like, I went off the grid, bro, because that's what Google told me. You want to get off here? Because it was all backed up, bro, from like the state line all the way into Vegas. I was like, fuck, it says 3 hours. So Google told me, make a left if you want to. We went off the road, bro. And I had a rent-a-car. I had something like really low too.
Right.
And it took me to some streets with a bunch of potholes. I don't think people even drive through there anymore. Yeah. You saw a lot of snakes. You would see, because it was during the summertime. So you would see the snakes on the asphalt while I'm driving because it's so dark, pitch black. My wife told me, he's like, Gus, like late after we went through all that shit. It took me about an hour to get through, and then we got into the going up a mountain, and it was dirt road, and there was thunder and lightning, bro, in Vegas. Yeah, thunder and lightning. Oh shit! And it started sprinkling. I was like, fuck. And it was all dirt. Yeah. If it starts raining, we're gonna get stuck here because it's all this mud. Yeah. This car is not an SUV. We're just gonna get stuck. So inside, I was worried, but my kids were like, "Oh my god, I saw a snake." you get me? So I understand that. Inside I was worried, but it was only an hour. You guys stayed there for a freaking
the whole night, bro.
Did you tell me about? I think your wife said something about. I was afraid of crocodiles gonna come in or something.
Yeah, like dude. I mean, listen. Yeah, she they were worried about everything. I think, for us as men, sometimes we're kind of looked at, right? Yeah. Like as we had to provide the calm and and you know the security and shit. So you have to stay calm, bro. Because if you panic, it's gonna fucking go like you know they're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was tripping out. I wasn't really worried about crocodiles and shit like that because you know the room was pretty secure. We kept some of the lights on and stuff, but yeah, it's fucking crazy, bro. Like being in the middle of the jungle, you know.
No, I'm
like
shit.
in the fucking like straight rain, you know, straight rain. Like
different country,
yeah, dude. You see fucking bugs that you're not accustomed to.
Yeah, you were busting Indiana Jones,
like,
bro.
Damn, you know, it's pretty crazy.
Shit.
And then and the next day it was so beautiful that the next day you realize like you have a little, you know, the place had a little like porch and a river, like a small little stream river kind of thing that went on the backside of it, and there's like fucking turtles, like just. You know, swimming around and shit. And we jumped on the kayaks and like the kids went out and we were like in the kayaks going in the little river and shit. It was beautiful. But yeah, sleeping in that shit, something else.
It's bad when you're going through it. And like you said, when you kind of come out of it and you kind of reflect back on it. Those are the tough times and times like that you kind of remember.
Right.
That kind of like toughen you up a little, believe it or not. So next time you and your family are pretty much in that same situation, or you guys, it's okay.
Right.
You guys
they have something to kind of like go like to go back at, right? Mentally.
Yeah.
And kind of like grab from and be like, hey, we were okay that time.
Yeah.
We'll be okay this time.
So that's the story I wanted you to tell, just because when you guys were telling me, I was cracking up because I totally understood about somewhat.
Yeah.
Nobody understands until that person is there. You get me?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
So I would have probably freaked out, bro.
It's crazy, bro. I don't know if I ever shared to you that one story when I went to we went to this island off of Honduras, Roatan, but quickly, you know, I'll just another very fucking that was a real scary moment for me. That's one of the like the most scary moments, scariest moments for me as a dad, as a husband, as a man.
Yeah.
Because like you hear all these stories. Long story short, I'll make that one short, but we're getting from the southern part of Honduras. We have to make it all the way to the northern part, the part that borders with Guatemala, all the way to the other side where it's like the Gulf, essentially. I guess the Gulf, not the Gulf of Mexico, but like the Atlantic side, whatever side that is.
Yeah.
And you hear all these stories, bro, about Honduras at the time was like really people just fucking kill for anything, dude. You know, and so anyways, we ended up jumping on a fucking local bus across a fucking country that we have no idea what the fuck, with luggage and shit, with my kids. My firstborn was like really young, and we're not jumping on like a fucking tour bus, dude. We're literally jumping on on local microbuses, you know, and trying to get across the country, and that was fucking crazy, bro. We ended up stopping at this one place where before you get to the capital, San Pedro Sula, or not that wasn't the capital. I think Tegucigalpa is the capital, but that's like the main fucking place. That's like LA, New York type of thing for them. And so we ended up stopping at a little town before you get there, right? And I asked this fucking lady real quick, oh, lady, like, do you know of a bus, blah, 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 that takes us over here? She's like, yeah. But just be careful because they just robbed one of these buses at gunpoint. Yesterday.
Oh shit!
And then they killed the guys down the street. Right? I'm like, what the fuck, bro? So like my blood sugar, my pressure, everything fucking just drops, dude.
Did you tell your people that?
Bro. No, I didn't tell anybody. Of course not, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody, they're fucking trying to eat and shit and grab. Like sometimes people can be so fucking like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Paranoid?
Just unaware.
Okay.
Sometimes I think at that point I was paranoid, but
yeah.
but I think sometimes people that you're with count on you to be to whether they know it or not, they count on you, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're driving through the desert, they're like, hey, I trust you as the man that you know what the fuck you're doing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why you have to keep cool. You have to keep your cool.
Right.
Even though deep down inside you're like,
fuck, I don't know what the fuck is going.
That's why I had that conversation with her afterwards. How'd you feel? Because I was fucking afraid. I thought we were going to get stuck out there. Because look, going up that mountain, this is in our own fucking country, bro.
Of course.
But the desert of Nevada.
Yeah.
So it pitch black. That's pitch black.
It's real dark. Yeah.
We were the only ones out there.
Oh yeah.
We were the only ones out there. So and my kids were freaking out in the back. Oh my god. Oh yeah. And my wife wasn't, but I could tell that she was like freaked out.
She was nervous. Yeah.
Yeah. She's always been like really cool about stuff because But me, on the other hand, I wished at that moment, I would have just taken the taller SUV at that moment. I was like, fuck.
Right.
That's when, because there was.
So what ended up happening?
There's these big ass boulders everywhere, so I had to go around them.
Right. You're going like fucking 5-10 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. And then the fastest I could go, because it was fucking up the front bumper or whatever, the grill. Remember, it was a rented car.
Right.
The grill was getting fucked up, dude. I even broke it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's these boulders. But when it started like sprinkling, I was like, oh, I gotta go.
You gotta go
Can
faster,
I get stuck out here, bro? Can I get
So how long were you on that road?
About an hour, but it felt so
long. And then
long.
what happened? You got to the concrete road again?
Yeah, we came down the hill, and then later on I saw like a Jeep, like the lights this small, and we got there. And then once I touched the asphalt again, I was like, oh my God. It's like a relief, bro.
Yeah, of course, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude, that's exactly the feeling. That feeling right there.
Yeah.
Multiply that times maybe like 2 or 3, maybe the same.
Like
when
10,
I made
bro.
it, bro. So after we got in that town from that lady, dude.
Yeah.
I'm shitting balls. I'm literally shitting balls, bro. Like I hadn't eaten since I didn't eat for 10 fucking hours, bro. We jump on a fucking bus, right? That another fucking local bus. It's literally like a school bus. There's like 50 fucking people in there, and it has a capacity of 30. You know, it's like they just load the shit up. We're halfway to the main place where the Tegucigalpa or whatever, San Pedro Sula place, and it fucking breaks down, bro. It breaks down, bro. So halfway, so then everybody's out, and then they pop us on another bus that's overloaded. That everyone's just like, you're like a fucking cockroach. Like you're literally like a cockroach or an ant, bro. Like just stuck inside a fucking thing, right?
Sardines.
With luggage with a kid, right? That you're responsible for. And that's exactly the feeling that I ended up getting when I got to the bus terminal. Yeah. And then I got the most expensive Mercedes-Benz fucking tour bus, bro, you know, that I could get. And we fucking, bro, like your legs are up, like, you know, your TV. And, you know, we're like fucking, you know, like kings in there, bro, and like relaxed. And I was so relaxed. And I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah. But same thing. It was like, it's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. You know, I have this conversation. I have this conversation because my wife gets mad at me that we don't go to El Salvador, and you guys were here when we were like, "Fuck that." I've been traumatized, bro.
Yeah.
The last time I went, I was a teen.
Yeah.
You get me? I've been with my cousin down there. My cousin's been out there when he's got his Jordans jacked.
Yeah.
They came up to him, "Hey, I like your shoes. Take them off." Straight up.
Yeah.
You get me? So you can't go to different countries. You stick out like a sore thumb.
Right.
Specifically me.
Yeah.
I have just the way I look, bro. It's just I can't get rid of this face. I tell Heidi, I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah,
you know, there's a reason why Dupree don't go down there, bro.
Well, he's from Guatemala at that point.
I don't think he's ever gone. I don't know if he ever has. Have you? Because I've asked him.
I think he said he hasn't gone in a minute.
Why hasn't he gone? Eh?
Right.
So you should go with his family. Take him down to the motherland.
Right. Yeah. No.
Hey, I have a question.
What happened?
When you're down there, do you guys call them chapines? Is that like what is it? A bad name for it?
No,
it's not. Because if you call me look, there's a couple words of Sabi people, like, you know,
right,
that it's pretty bad, like the main one, you know. But then there's other ones like bicho, cipote. But is chapin a bad one?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
Just making sure, because last time I said it, something's like that. Chapinos were in front of me and fucking me up. Remember?
It depends on how you say it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, he's chapin. You know, if you're using it to, you know, but I guess you could say it in a derogatory form, right? It'd be like, oh, those fucking chapinos.
Oh, it's because the way I said it, these fucking short. Because I'm short, but these guys were shorter, like 5'2", 5'3".
So yeah, I mean, obviously,
yeah,
that would be like equivalent of you saying all these fucking short Guatemalans. Like it doesn't matter; they're still derogatory, you know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's the word I was trying to say. I don't know if you saw it, but I couldn't. It didn't come out right. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna say it.
No.
So you know. Going back to that experience, those are the type of experiences that I for one, kind of make me the person that I was back in those days. We grew up kind of rough.
Right.
I grew up with, it's just different times.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing, that's the topic that I just really would just want to talk about, because our society has become so freaking fragile, so soft, so, what's the word? Offended by little bullshit. It's a soft society.
It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting. Listen, I've had this conversation recently, right? Especially with everything going on in the world. And it's really interesting because as a human being, I would say that it's one of the first times in our existence, in my opinion, right? That we're in an era where we don't have to be like savages to a certain extent, right? Not to say that everyone is a savage, but like people I've never killed an animal to eat it.
Have you seen one get
I've
killed?
seen one get killed.
Okay.
I know people still do it.
I was with my grandpa and grandma when they killed a. Have you ever seen somebody a chicken get his head cut off?
Yeah.
Okay, so I
saw
that.
a lamb get killed, and then they turn it upside down. They slice its neck and let it bleed out.
Oh shit! I've seen a
or
cow.
Chivo, I think it was.
I saw a cow get his balls cut off, and then like they hung them up with like 4. I don't know, like I don't know how many people with a machine with the hook or whatever.
So it's fucking crazy, isn't it? It's fucking crazy.
It leaves you kind of like, what the fuck did I just see?
Yeah.
You can't just comprehend it, especially when you're a kid, bro.
Of course.
Because I was a kid.
Right.
So you can't comprehend. Like, even when we watch movies, I was watching RoboCop earlier. This is a scene where they blow up the guy's hand, and my kids was watching. I was like, oh shit.
Right.
I don't think they comprehended what the fuck just happened. And then I paused it. I go, are you all right, Gus? He's like, yeah. Now I know why it's so gory, Dan. I go, well, but you see, I grew up watching these movies.
Of course.
Society, my parents were just a little bit different.
But that's the thing, right? The thing is that, like, because our parents were accustomed to this goriness, right?
Yeah.
They allowed us to watch this shit with them. They to them it was like, it's fine. He's gonna be fine, because they were fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now for us, it's kind of like we want to, we want I think as a parent, I don't know if it's as a parent, dude, or as a human being in general, like, you want to be better, right? Like, we're full of potential. We want to be better parents. We want to be better people. We want to be better, professionally. We want to be better at everything. But I don't know, man. It's really interesting because.
Well, let me tell you. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Soft and spoiled now.
Right.
Are we? Are the next generation growing up like that?
I would say generally yes.
Why? What do you think then? Like, from your experience, the way you grew up, or just general?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do probably with parenting, right? Because a lot of who we are stems from like how we were raised as kids, right? From our parents. And so I think that goes back to what I was saying a minute ago, which was, as a parent, we want to shield and protect our kids. And so we want them to be better. And so we think that by shielding them and protecting them, that they're going to be better. And I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I'm guilty of that.
I am too. I am too.
But I'm also like a tough dad.
Me too.
And so, because I think one thing that, I tell my wife at times, because, as a mom, I think, just their nature, right? Their maternal nature to be more loving. It's like that good cop, bad cop, right? Like the dad usually takes on the role of the bad cop, right? In at least in a male, like when you have boys. I don't know if that's the case with girls, because I don't have any girls, but I've seen it go backwards with girls, where like the dad is the good guy, right? And like mommy's what is it? Daddy's mom, or
daddy's little girl.
Daddy's little girl. And so the dad is the good one because he kind of gives her everything
I think
she
we
wants.
would be. I think we
For
would
sure.
be.
For sure.
Because we're tough on our boys.
Right.
And if for a girl, I think it'd be a little different. I see my brother-in-law, my little niece comes over.
He's like softer with her.
I'm like that with her. She comes and gives me a hug, and I'm like, hey, mommy, like, and all that.
Yeah.
Like, I softened up. Don't get me wrong. I soften up on my boys too.
Right.
But it's a little different when, when they're getting a little older, and you just got to be a little tougher because you got to show them.
Yeah. And I think everything, it kind of goes to like a preparation for the real world, right?
Yeah.
In like the real world. But I think we've talked about this on other podcasts, but like the real world in our experiences, right? In the past is a cold, hard, tough world. And so if we want to prepare our kids for that world, then I'd rather be the kind of like a little bit tough on you. No. So when you get out there, you know what's out there and you don't have to worry about that shit, you know, versus I'm soft and nice to you all the time. And I make you think that the world is nothing but peaches and cream or, you know, butterflies. And then you go out there and every little fucking thing offends you. And then you want to kill yourself because, oh my God, how dare, you know, oh my God.
That's what society.
Nobody loves me. I'm so depressed.
Well, kids, society. Even, but that's the younger generation, which are kind of like, to me, that's the younger generation. But society in general, even people like our age, they're softening up.
Right.
Look at, we might not talk about, you hate this word. I know you do. Cancel culture.
Yeah.
If I say something that offends you,
right,
you see what's going on.
Right.
Trying to stop Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Just because he has an opinion, so what?
Right.
What's so bad about having an opinion? We have opinions. We don't. The majority of times we don't agree.
Yeah.
And the reason why is we're different backgrounds.
Right.
We think different.
Well, we're also like just different people, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard for, I think, to find someone that you agree with everything on, right? Like you and your wife don't agree on everything.
We're the complete opposites, bro.
Yeah. You just, you know, as long as you agree on, as long as you're able to have that dialogue, you know, to where you can make things work. That's all that really matters, you know?
Yeah.
But that's why I have a big problem with cancel culture, where it's like, but I feel like it's the big fucking softies. I think it's the big softies that can't take it, right? That they're like, I'll cancel you. No, let's just cancel him because he's not whatever. Because they can't just be like, what would happen, for example, if somebody said something you didn't like, right? Just as an example, they either call him out on it, right? Back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Call him out on it. Like, what'd you say? Like,
oh hell yeah.
Why? Because everybody was hard back in the day.
Yeah.
If you said something, you're gonna be held accountable to it. Like, you know, or like think about rappers back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they still do it too. But rappers used to talk shit. I started watching that Kanye thing, and somebody talked shit.
But that's what they do
about Kanye, and then Kanye went over there and just, hey, talk to the guy in the face like a man, like not like a man. I'm gonna stop saying that. I don't like that. It's just like you know, like a person should.
Okay, I disagree with some of the stuff that he's done.
Right. I wasn't. I'm not saying that I agree with him. I was just saying like
but
I just as an example, you know, like if, for example, like if somebody says something stupid, right, that about me, and then I don't like it, be like, oh, they should cancel him. No, it should be like, yo, hey, Gus, like
we're gonna wrap it out.
Like, bro, what's your problem, dude? Why'd you say that?
Yeah.
Because you said that last time, blah blah blah, and you just talk it out, right? Or you don't, or you hash it out, or you throw some blows, whatever it is.
That's the thing. Look, rappers. Let me just go back to the example you gave with rappers.
Right.
So that the reason I say I don't agree with what with Kanye did. Oh, let's go talk it out. No, man, it's rap. Let's fucking you throw your bars, I'll throw my bars out, and that's the way it was.
Yeah, I think, yeah, probably.
That was the rap game in the 80s, early 90s.
Right.
If you have some beef, let's throw it out there.
Right.
Let's have a rap battle, whatever it is.
Right.
You don't go out there and let's hash it out. No, it doesn't. Right. I guess if you want to be civilized.
Like I think because those fools were straight gangster, right? The other dudes that were just doing that, throwing lines and shit, were straight gangster, right? Like Tupac and Biggie. That's what happened. And then 90s. They took it to the next fucking level, right?
The 80s, they had like natural.
But Kanye's like 2000. That was like what?
Late 90s,
2000, right? Yeah. So he is trying to be a little more civil, right?
Okay.
And he didn't really see himself as like a rapper.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't. That's what he said. He couldn't rap about guns and fucking violence and shit. He rapped about some other stuff. So his style was like, yo, I'm gonna go talk to you about it. Like, what's your problem?
He's still kind of like a storyteller, though. Huh? He's one of the last ones, basically. From what I see.
Yeah, I love College Dropout, and
I like a lot of his music. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, dude.
He's a little crazy, but you know what?
Right.
But this is the thing. Let me go back to this, bro. And you said that. I don't want to say, because you know what, like music, that's just culture now, bro. Right. Or even the movies, they have to edit all this shit. So this is where I come. I think one of the things now, I think it's social media, bro. And let me just read what a homeboy Mike Tyson said.
Handle it.
Let's see if you and I agree. social media made you way too comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. Is that right to say? What do you think? Is it a true quote or saying? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's easy. I think it's easy to stand behind a computer or your phone or whatever it is and listen, I've been guilty of it here, right, on the podcast, in previous podcasts.
Yeah, but
here's the thing. At
least you're telling me though.
But here's the thing. I would that's my opinion. So I would still go as far as, because of who I am, right? To say that to someone, right? Like with your buddy last time, we're having a conversation, then I disagree with him, and I will say it. I don't necessarily have to be disrespectful about it. Sure, I'm emotional about it while I'm saying it, but there can still be that dialogue, right? So, like, to answer your question, wait, what was your question?
Well, social media.
Social media. Oh, and about people talking and stuff.
Yeah, that's made
it's
it
like,
soft.
It's one thing. So it's one thing to debate or to disagree with someone or to call somebody out, but then there is this thing on social media that I notice where people will just flat out like disrespect each other or just flat out talk shit because it's very easy to do that. And I think these are the circumstances where Mike Tyson's probably talking like, dude, it's really easy for you to talk shit right now because, I'm not standing in front of you.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, for example, we'll disagree on a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think we've ever like disrespected each other on that. I'll say like, hey, you said that. No, we'll get into a heated discussion or argument.
Yeah.
Well, you said that. Well, so does that mean you're not? Well, then you are this or that. But it's not like
stop being a little girl.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not like, where we're not in control or we're saying something like insulting to each other, right?
Yeah.
Or even if we say like, Josh, you're a little bitch, or you're like, Gus, you're a little bitch. We have this relationship, right? It's not like to a fucking stranger.
Yeah.
Like, if I saw one of your other homies here and I'm like, dude, you're a bitch, bro.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it becomes this thing where it's like, well, would I say that he's a bitch if, like if I said it on the phone, right, on social media versus if I said it to him in person, right? Like, it's
This is the difference. This is why I agree with everything you're saying. Everything, it's a right. But if you say something like that in front of somebody, then you better be ready to go blow to blow. That's the way it was. That's the way it usually is when you say something disrespectful to somebody when he's in your face.
Right.
So I tell my wife this all the time. If I say something, then if somebody punches me, then I should be expecting it because that's the way it is and that's the way it's always been. It was like that when I was growing up. Let's go back to high school. Right. Before social media, before people were fucking soft and trying to be fucking, I forget what they call them, like when they're behind the computer. There's a word for it. God, it just went out my mind. But just think about it. I heard you talking shit about me in high school. You get me? Just think of
right.
back in those days.
That's true. Hey, I heard you talking shit. I heard you say something.
Say it to my face.
Right.
And then you a pussy, bro. Guess what?
But
yes,
blows. Yeah.
Pop, then and there. Right then and there. Oh, and I mean, I was part of that shit because I'm a big time instigator.
Right.
When you're an instigator like my ass, then you better be. You better be on your toes. That's the bottom line.
Right.
You can't be an instigator and not think that somebody's not gonna come at you.
Yeah.
Now this is where I dislike about what's going on, and I dislike it. I'll be honest with you. Is it gonna stop? No.
Right.
Because now, and I think I told you that everything's an opinion. Even like shows. You're a big fan of was it Carlson? Tucker Carlson.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I told you one time that he does not consider himself a newsman, or what is it when it's not a newsman?
A journalist.
A journalist.
Mm-hmm.
He is an opinionated TV man, or
anchor, or whatever.
Anchor, yeah, that's what he calls himself. Yeah. So that's how he gets away with it, because whatever he says, he's like, I'm not from the news. This is my opinion, and I mean, and that's cool,
right?
Just like we are doing here,
right?
That I understand.
Yeah.
So. But the difference is that he could, his large audience, talks all this smack, whatever. But this is opinion. But what if you say that in front of somebody in somebody's face?
Yeah.
That's the problem with me. Like you say something, go ahead. But don't think that I'm not gonna go up there and like old school and punch you in the mouth, bro. That's the way it was. That's the only, I guess, what I would say that I dislike about society now. Anybody could say whatever they want to say,
right?
Get away with whatever with it. Because if you come and punch me in the face now, I'm going to just sue you.
Right.
Or we're just going to go ahead and cancel you or whatever. If I don't like what you said, I'm going to go ahead and cancel you.
The whole cancel culture, I feel like, is probably like a more like the back in the day punching somebody in the face. You want to hurt them, but you can't, so you just cancel them.
You know, when you're young, I mean, it felt good to punch somebody in the face, though. Like somebody that's talking shit.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's our culture. We grew up in a different era, bro. And
made us tough, bro.
And you know what? Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And I get it. We're older. There's consequences to punching somebody in the face right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this. We were talking about this last time here, where we were debating, right, whether or not the whole like based on your legal status, if you would throw a punch or not. But yeah. Listen, age, maturity. I think throwing a punch doesn't really resolve anything either, right? It just gets you into more trouble. And then realistically, who gives a shit what the other fucking person is saying, right? To a certain extent, is it worth it? Is it worth the hassle? Somebody thinks I'm a pussy. Okay.
But that's the way it
Good
should
for
be, though.
you, bro.
That's the way we should take it, right?
Right.
Not go ahead and cry about it. We're going to cancel your ass now.
Right.
So what? I don't care. Like, there's a lot of things that people said that I don't like. And
Right.
I just brush it off. Like, oh,
Right.
well.
Right.
This show, there's a lot of things that people talk shit about. Look, and I always bring the Preep just because he's my biggest critic. He doesn't like the way I talk.
He's just a big critic in general. Isn't he?
Yeah. Until he gets on, like, see how he gets criticized. But you know what? That's the way it is. He has his opinion. Most people have their opinion, like it or not. That's the way it is. Am I gonna go over there? Oh, talk shit? Nah, I don't care. It is what it is. Now let's go back to the way we got brought up. You got brought up a certain way. I got brought up a certain way. Let me just say, describe the way that you got brought up, bro. Like, was it a tough one? Was it?
Well, I'll tell you what, like, I don't remember most of my, obviously, like, your first 4 or 5 years of life, something like that, right? But I know that I was originally in East LA. I have, like, there's back in, this is 86, bro. So 86 to 90, 91, 92 maybe, so there's like gunshots and the projects off of First Street, right before you cross the bridge. There used to be a park there, and then maybe I was even a little bit older because I remember I played one season of baseball at the local park there. But it was me and my brother at first, right? And then we moved out to the valley. But my mom's like, I guess, first generation American kind of. She grew up very like, she's told me her story about how she grew up and her mom, never told her she loved her. And so she made sure to tell us that she loved us all the time, right? But she was still rough, and my dad didn't grow up with a dad. So my dad really never told us he loved us. Here and there, he told us he loved us, right?
Yeah.
And then it was hard for my dad to really be a dad once we became like adolescents, right? Like once I hit my teenage years or pre-teenage years, it was hard because now, at a teenager's pretty much like an adult, bro, a very immature adult, which our boys are getting there, right? And they have their own thoughts, their own temperament already. And then they start their amount of hormones, right? Just like poof, like shoots up, right? And then they want to like take the alpha position, bro. And they start trying to like test you and shit.
Oh yeah, they do. That's why I told him, because he kind of spoke to me wrong. I was like, what? Right now, I don't know if you heard him.
No. Yeah.
It's like, what, Dad? And I was like, what the hell? And then I kind of looked at him. He's like, oh, yes, Dad, yes. Shit, watch how you talk to him. Yeah. And it just happened right now.
Right. So, it happened. So to answer your question, I grew up, I guess, like in a good home, but like, my parents didn't. It was like tough love, right? Like even with our siblings and stuff, it was always like we always bagged on each other. It was nonstop bagging on each other.
We still do that.
Nonstop bagging on each other. And I was the oldest, right? So, I don't love you. just to bag on, to get one angry, you know.
Yeah,
My little sister angry, you know. My poor little sister, I remember she ran after me. You know, it's so sad, dude. Now when you think about it, you know, like, it's so crazy how that's like a normal thing. I never say that. I never say that to my kids. And I would never dare saying that. And if they said that to each other, like, I would not be like, no, guys, we don't say that to each other, okay? We'd say we do love each other. But it was like, it was okay back then. My little sister runs after me because she's like so sad and hurt, bro. And she falls and trips and like hits herself on the corner of the door and ends up going to the hospital and getting stitches on her forehead. But this is the kind of shit that, you know, like, you know, like you don't think about, right? Like when you're growing up and you're like, and it kind of goes on with you after you become, you know, an adult a little bit, where you think like bagging is okay because that's all you know. And that's how you show love, by bagging, right? You think that, you know, you bagged your siblings and with your family, and that's how we love each other. That's how we get along. We bag on each other. Yeah. So that's all we know. You know, so like for me, bagging, bro, come on, we worked together for like for a little bit, and that's all we did, you know, all day, every day, and, you know, it's like, dude, I could do that shit all day, like it's fun, but the problem that I have with that is that it never like led to anything good. Nothing good ever came out of it. It never does. And you, on the opposite end, being like nice and loving, in my experience, a lot did come out of that. Or being proper, or being like professional, or not having those relationships, or having relationships that weren't like that anymore, I felt like was more rewarding than the ones where you're bagging each other, just talking shit, because you think that's how you appreciate each other, but in reality it's like, you know.
I'm glad that your mom got to tell you got, you know, she loved you and stuff. Yeah. I never received any of that from my parents, bro. Let me tell you, dude, my parents were no nonsense. My dad was a no nonsense type person, bro. Type of person that if you fall and break something, he would whip my ass just for falling down, or walk it off. There's a lot of guys my age that grew up with parents like that. I don't know if it's a generational thing, but it was tough love, bro. They didn't even show.
Your dad is born here or over there? No, in El Salvador.
El Salvador.
Yeah.
And my mom too. She doesn't show much emotion. She did her mom and caring stuff. I mean, her momly thing, but she wasn't very huggy, lovey-dovey. She was not like that. My dad was not like that. He'd give me hugs here and there, but he was fucking tough love. Yeah. Even as I grew older, bro, like if I were to talk to him bad, he would slap me across the face, bro. Wipe the blood off your nose. Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. Right. And I hear these stories from people my age about their parents. Their parents grew up like that. That's the way it was. And I mean, they got the belt. My kids don't know what the belt is, bro.
God damn. My kids know what the belt is.
My kids don't. My kids see me stand up, and damn, they run like roaches, bro. They spread. And so they just see my face. Oh, shit, that's coming. But I think maybe I say spank because it's my hand. Never do I smack them anywhere but their ass, like the butt. And I've done it hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was hard because and then I told myself I'm never gonna do it while I'm pissed off either. Right. Because then
because when you're pissed off, it's emotional. So sometimes like you can hit a little bit harder than you need to.
Yeah. So I have to cool off a little. I'm still kind of pissed, but not at that moment. And then I go over and I whoop his ass. Or whatever, but it's just a little different than what I grew up, bro. Yeah, and that, and even as I grew older, just learning how to drive.
But it's good, no?
Yeah,
because the relationship you have with your kids is. This is what I was going to, and maybe you're proving that to be true, which is the relationship. You kind of not doing the same things that your parents did, right? Yeah, allows you to have a better relationship with your kids. Yeah. Do you think or no?
No. It is like my kids and I are more. They understand that there's times where I'm gonna be their friend. There's a time where daddy's gonna have to be the dad, and there's gonna be times where daddy's gonna love you and give you hugs and tell you, "Hey, good job." And there's gonna be times where daddy goes, "What the f's going on now, bro? Like if you didn't do good in your test, what's going on? Right. All you have to do is worry about your test. Otherwise, no video games, none of this, la la." Yeah. When there's times like I just said, he spoke to me back, and I was like, "What the f?" The way he said it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a line. They need to understand there's a line.
Yeah, and I get it. They tell me, hey, Dad, you're chubby wubby. Or they have names for me because I'm overweight. I'm a big fat guy now. And that's cool.
Right.
I understand they're playing around, and I do the same thing. Hey, man, you got a big head. Let's,
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And we go back and forth, but they understand that, Dad's not playing around now. And
Right. There's a time and place for everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's a line because, there's rules.
Yeah, and exactly. Don't punch me in the balls because my little Lucas, sometimes if you play with him, he'll come at you and you'll try to punch him. No. He's learning.
JD did that to me one time. And I was like, nah, bro.
Nah, and he
really messed me up.
And I wear a lot of shorts sometimes I wear when we go out because I like to relax in my shorts. And this guy, we were at one time back in the day, we were at Toys R Us and he came and pulled my shorts, bro, from the back side. Oh, front. I don't know if it's from the front. I think it's the back side. And he pulled them like almost to my knees almost. But luckily the front didn't go down. But the back side, I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? Shit. Yeah. And I had to give him one of these, like one of those clink on their forehead, on their head. Yeah. Because that's what I used to get at Coscorron. We used to do like the knuckle, whatever. Like
Coscorron,
yeah. And but I don't lose it very quick, like very, very fast. I'm very patient, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. My face might tell you different because this is the face I have. I can't control it. It's always been like that. Yeah. My wife tells me, "Hey, why aren't you smiling? What are you talking about?"
I'm happy. There's a big smile.
What are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with my face.
Yeah.
You look mad. I'm like, well, this is my good face. So. Yeah, I mean, I've had those moments, bro. And so the way I grew up, it was just tough. And then even my teenage years, I want to give you an example, bro. Like my dad never showed me how to do things. He was my supervisor.
Right.
So he'll tell you, and he'll be right there.
Right.
He's like, hey, smart guy. Hey, it goes, take off the tire, take off the screw, do this, but he ain't gonna do it for you.
Right.
My dad was like that.
Yeah.
When I learned how to drive stick shift, he didn't get on my side, show me how to do it. He get it off first gear. You do this, and he just sat there.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. He would tell me it's common sense.
Yeah.
And I'm like that with my son. But I don't get it, Dad. Just figure it out. You're a smart kid. Because my kids are so used to being handed stuff. Mom's like, oh, they.
Yeah. I say the same thing to my wife sometimes because I'm like, I'll ask her for something. I'll be like, for example, right? I'll say, hey, where's the salt? I'm just making this up, right? Yeah. Where's the salt? And then she won't answer me. She'll go and grab me the salt. And be like, no. Listen, or I'll stop her. Be like, stop. Listen, I'm not asking you to get me the salt. I'm asking you where it is. Yeah. She's like, it's gonna take me longer to explain to you, so I'll just go get it for you, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same, but I do the same thing with my boys. My boys, I have them go do things because my mom did everything for me, which kind of made me a little bit of a lazy butt when I was like first, 18, 19, and 20 and shit. I was a bit of a slob, still am, but
I think most guys are.
But I mean, I'm not blaming my mom for it, but my mom took care of me. She did spoil me a little bit. She cleaned our room. Our room was always fucking clean. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, so there was always a hot meal when we got home, and our rooms was always clean. Laundry, everything, and all that shit. So, but you got listen. Good cop, bad cop. And it's not necessarily that we're bad cops, but there is this balance, right? Yeah. So they get to see the best of both worlds, almost, Do
you get bothered if you say, like, for instance, look, I tell my son, hey, go do this. We bought him some shoes, so the boxes are right here. They're a bunch of boxes. Mm-hmm. I need you to get dressed. Go throw them in the trash. And the trash is right over there, bro.
Right.
And my wife's like, no, I'll do it. I don't want them going out there. She does this all the time. I'm like, what are you talking? No. Yeah. Let them do it. Right. Let them grab their crap. Let them whatever. Because there's a lot of times where my wife just kind of like butts in. Right. And I know she doesn't do it on purpose to
or she's not doing it in a bad way either. No.
Yeah. And I understand. I go and I tell my wife, Heidi, you gotta let them be boys. They have to, if they don't, if we don't teach them, like who or they don't learn because they have to learn some things on their own, bro. It's not so hard to go throw the trash, like whatever. Yeah. But as they get older, if you keep on doing that, then specifically boys, they're gonna get used to that shit. Yeah. What am I raising?
Well, I think we covered this in another podcast. We said that we're like a generation raised by women, right? It's like a generation of men raised by women, and it's like back in the day, right? Because or even now, I guess it depends, right? If the dad's always working, then the mom's raising the kid. But nowadays, yeah, dude, moms, I think just traditionally, right? They want to protect their young, and so do we. It's not that, but I think because us, like, as men, we fear less, just realistically, right? Not because, like any hierarchy type of thing. It's just like as a man, you have less to fear, right? Like if you could walk down the street at 2:00 in the morning and like you don't have to worry about anything.
I do it all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to fucking worry about it.
I don't.
Yeah. But can your wife walk down the street 2 in the morning?
Hell no.
Yeah, you'd be kind of even like, she'd be worried. She'd be like, so. But I think that they kind of take that from their own personal experience, right?
Yeah.
Because they probably walk around with that feeling, So then when they see their kid, they're like, oh well, no, it's kind of dangerous for the kid, and you're like, what the fuck? No, I'm a man. It's not dangerous for him to throw the trash out,
Yeah, but you know what?
Like I have that shit happen all the time at the house, where we have a gate in the front of the house and the back of the house, and there's like fucking enough people living in the house where if you don't see a kid for 10 seconds, you're like, where's he? Like, he's fucking around somewhere. Like he's fine.
We're helicopter parents now.
Yeah, it's like you would be fucking like you at all times. It's like you need to have a fucking tracker on him, almost like buy an Apple little tag thing and put it in his fucking sock, just in case. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, but I had this conversation with a friend at work, and he told me, and he has an older son. He's like, Gus, I got into the point where I was scared to let my kid go at 13, 14 years old to the liquor store to go buy himself a snack or whatever, or go buy himself a soda. Because that's what you do. You get on your bike and you let him go down, because that's what I did.
Right.
But he was afraid, and he's like, damn, Gus. I'm like, dude, I grew up on the streets. I was 7 years old, walking from school, whatever. I did the same thing. And he was scared at, his kids in teen.
But I think because of how we were raised, I mean, I don't know. Do you think... I think because of how we were raised and the times were different, I think it was easier for us to do those things.
Yeah.
I think, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they say it in Spanish, like where the kids are more like vivos. They're more like in tune with life, with real world, like you go to Guatemala, for example, and you talk to a little 4-year-old, he's already like selling shit. He can count, he can like sell stuff and give you change and have like full adult conversations with you at 4 years old, versus a fucking 4-year-old here is just like Paw Patrol.
They got introduced to the real world. I think that's the problem. I mean, it's a good thing, and I've said it before, but that's also the problem that I tell my wife this all the time. Let's keep the kids in their kid world as long as we can. Right. Because eventually they're going to grow.
Yeah, they're going to have to grow.
Yeah, they're going to have to do it. And I guess that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I think that's where society's at now too.
Right.
Like these muffin ears, or I don't know if you've seen that movie. I forgot what the movie that was. Don't be saying bad words in front of my kid, and he does the muffin ears, and that's where we're at. Even I have to do it sometimes. Like one of my big pet peeves is when they have... I tell Gus, do not have fun in your brother's expense. That means they gang up on my youngest, his older cousins, and even his friends. His friends, when they come over, they gang up on Lucas. and the thing is that Lucas is a big boy,
right? And
he kind of fits in with them,
so he can hang a little bit.
Yeah, he could hang physically, but not mentally.
Right.
Because their age difference is so 4 years apart. Right. So even at school, they try to like bully. My son told me this story, and I got so bothered by Isaac. Remember, my son's 1-year-old. I mean, he's a first grader, so he's 7 years old. He just turned 7. So he walked up to his friend during lunchtime, and he goes, "Hi, Isaac," and he wants to hang out with his big brother.
Yeah.
His big brother told him, "What are you doing here? Hanging out with his cool friends." Remember, 5th grader. And then they start talking smack to his little brother. His friends start talking smack to his little brother. And so that day I seen him with he had a big ass scratch on his chest, and so my youngest started telling me what happened. He's like, yeah, he was making fun of me, Dad. He was bugging me with his friends. So I went up to Isaac, and I tried punching him, and I grabbed him from the shirt and scratched him because he was talking smack to me. Oh shit. But he told me at first I didn't know that story that they ganged up on him at school, and I go, don't you ever? And so I got into him with Isaac. I go, don't you ever do that again, bro?
Yeah.
I'm like, don't you understand that he went up to you thinking that you were gonna be like the cool brother and protect them, and you did the complete opposite. You let your friends talk shit. You didn't do nothing about it. You told them to go away. So now you're the complete opposite of what I want you to be. I want you, because his little brother sees him as the big cool brother. He wants to be like him, and I get it. My youngest is a little awkward at times. I'm not gonna lie to you. Socially, at times he can be a little awkward because he tries to go up with the bigger boys, and bigger boys talk different. Mm-hmm. And so it bothered me, and I had to come home and kind of be on his side, and I don't like doing that, but I have to at this moment where I have to be like, hey, listen, man, don't you do this shit.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts. I get, because I've had the same thing happen to me, except that I'm an older brother. It hurts because they're both your kids, you know. Yeah. So like I'll do the same thing. I would say the same thing. I'd be like, bro, listen, you're the older brother. You have a responsibility. He looks up to you. Yeah. You know, he's your biggest fan. Yeah. Like you're his best fucking friend. Yeah. He hangs out with you. He looks up to you. He wants to be like you. He likes all the shit that you like, you know, like for the most part, right? So you need to like have his back. Yeah. That's what being a brother is. Yeah.
Family. That's what I tell him. Yeah, exactly.
You know, the hard part sometimes, and I say this as a big brother,
they don't get
is that you're, you know, you didn't grow up with that, so you can't even like assimilate. You can't even think. First of all, like boys, just in general, right? We were talking about this earlier. Boys are just airheads already as it is, right? You have to ask them like 10 times to do fucking something, right? Yeah. So they're very not aware of what they're doing, but yeah, it's not okay to do that. Which obviously, you corrected him on that, but it's as a big brother. Also, sometimes it's kind of. I remember my dad one time, my little brother complaining to my dad when we were in high school, because me and my brother I guess in high school, I was a senior and he was a freshman, and I guess something similar like that happened, but without the fact that we bagged on him, right? We didn't bag him or anything. But I didn't even realize it happened. I said what's up to him, like, yo, what's cracking, what's up, blah blah blah, and that was it. Yeah. Later, I found out my dad comes and has a chat with me and is like, that I supposedly ignored him and didn't want him hanging out with my friends and shit. And then my dad was also a younger brother, a younger sibling. So I remember telling him, I was like, what are you talking about? I was hanging out with my friends. He came over. I said hi to him, and then he left. Like, what do you want me to do? Yeah. And my dad was like, well, he's your brother. You need to like hang out with him. And you know, if he's new at school and this and that, and you need to like. He's hanging out with you. So for a little bit afterwards, I was like, that's fucking fine. I was like, but, you know, I don't know what he's telling you, that I said something to him or whatever, but it's really, sometimes as a big brother, it's kind of tough because you didn't grow up with a big brother. Yeah. So you're just born and your parents gave you all your attention, right? Like you gave your oldest all his attention. Yeah. He grows up, he's doing his thing. He's just doing his thing. Yeah. He never had a big brother. So then he has 4 years go of his life where he's just doing his thing. And then this little human being shows up. And he's like, okay, cool. He keeps doing his fucking thing because for the first year, he can't do anything with him anyways. Yeah. Right? And then the next couple years, he comes around. He's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll play with him. Woo. All right, cool. We hang out. Boom. But he's already like, his life pattern's already like, I'm just doing my thing. Yeah. My brother's my brother. But like, you know, so it's tough. It's tough on that sense.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I mean,
it's tough.
I become that helicopter parent now.
Yeah.
I have to. You see, now I'm looking over them, and I try not to, and I try to. I tell Heidi, no matter how much I try to, not let them be in their kid world, because they're gonna have issues too. They gotta figure it out.
Right.
But when that shit happens, I have to step in.
Oh, for sure.
You get me?
Yeah, stuff like that for sure.
And he told me, Dad, his friend called me a puto, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, what the hell?
You get me? I go, what'd you say, Gus? Did you say anything? I told him to stop, and then they go back and forth. No, you didn't, and that's how we started, supposedly.
Yeah, no shit, that's crazy.
So, and little shit like that, like how am I not supposed to get bothered by that?
Oh no, of course, hell no.
You get me? So just little things like that. Obviously, and I tell these stories to Heidi. I go, you know what? You know what made me like that? Our experiences, kind of like what you said, makes us want to protect our kids because we went through some experiences, and this is why we kind of have to like shelter them more almost. And I'm
yeah. It's listen. I remember an experience, bro. I kid you not. My uncle. I don't think you've ever met my uncle, but my uncle kind of looks like you, but even more tatted. He's like this fool's full like OG, like fully fucking tat all over his face and his head and everything. And I still hang out with him occasionally. But I remember a scenario, bro, and he's like your age. So when I was, so how old? What's our age difference? How old are you? 41.
Yeah.
So we're like 7 years apart. 6 years.
Almost seven. Almost seven.
Bro. So when I was like in elementary, he was like in high school.
Yeah. And
he went to go pick us up from elementary school, bro. And these little Armenian kids or some shit like that. This was over on Van Ness in Santa Monica, by like Hollywood. And this little kid or somebody punked my little brother, right?
Yeah.
And then I didn't even notice it. It was elementary because me and my brother went to the same school. I didn't even notice it. And he's like, yo, somebody's over there pushing your little brother. And I was like, oh. I thought he was going to fucking go stop it or something, right? He's like, go kick his ass. So I'm like, go, fuck him. I don't know what he said. Like, go mess him up, go something, right? Yeah. So like I run over there and I literally just like, bam, like body slam some dude. And then like me and my brother, and then he had a little brother. So it's literally like two little brothers getting down in the front of the grass in the front of the school, dude, after school, right? And then like I remember they called us in or whatever. We were just like wrestling each other pretty much, like we were too little to be throwing punches and stuff, we were just like, trying to wrestle each other. But what I was getting at with that was that times are different, bro. You swear, nowadays, if some shit like that happened, are you kidding me? It'd be like, little Jimmy, stop that. You're going straight to the principal's office. We're telling your parents, and it's like.
You would think that. Remember I told you the story where Isaac, went from a private school down to a public school. His first day there, he turned around, a big fifth grader punched him in the face just because the fifth grader thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's fucking rough.
Punched him, bro. And I didn't know about it until they were taking a shower because I used to work the night shift, like the 5 o'clock shift almost. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get to find out until Heidi called me at work. He's like, dude, your son has this big ass bruise lying in his eye, and it was turning purple. Yeah, and she's like, and I asked him what happened. It was his first day of school and then I was like, fucking. I was like, Heidi, if you don't go over there tomorrow, I'm gonna go fucking break hell over there. She's like, no, don't go. I'll go. And then they told her, well, yeah, he got punched. And then this is the worst part, that the TA or whoever was out there saw this happen, talked to the kid, but never told the teacher or the principal.
Yeah, fuck that.
So when my wife went to go talk to the principal, they called in the teacher.
Nobody knew about it.
No. And then the TA or whatever it was, she's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell the teacher. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. She said she saw it from the side or something. Mm-hmm. Not until she saw my kid's eye the next day. Right. After it turns green and then it turns purple and shit like that. I was fucking boiling, bro. How in the fuck that happened? How does this big 4th, 5th grader come up to my kid lunchtime, turn around, think it's funny, and punch him in the eye? Yeah. So those experiences, like I told Gus, I go, do you remember what happened to you? Don't let a big boy do that to your little brother. I don't care how big he is. Yeah. His mind is not there yet. Yeah. So, and I remember, look, dude, I'm gonna give you an example. You said your thing. I had two when I told Heidi, this is why I have this. It boils because it happens all the time. Because I had an older brother and I would roll with him all the time. And I heard it from his friends. Oh, you bringing your little brother? We invited you, not him. So I remember that feeling. Mm-hmm. So there's two significant events that happened. One time we were playing basketball. I was like, okay, let me start with this one first. I was in 2nd. My brother was in 5th grade. We were walking home with his friend, and I was walking in front with my cousin. So it was his friend, and my brother and my cousin and I were walking in front of them. And my cousin and I were like the same grade, the same age. We were like, kind of like hitting each other back and forth, like grabbing, kind of like wrestling. And the guy goes, "Hey, stop, dude! Stop messing with Roger," which is my cousin. And I was like, "What?" I didn't understand. I was like, you're talking to my brother. I didn't even pay attention. And then again, we started like messing around. And then this guy pulled my backpack, and I looked over, and he punched me right in the nose, bro. And I started bleeding, gushing blood, like on the front of the street. And I was crying, but like a little.
Damn.
I was gushing blood, bro.
Yeah.
Like my whole shirt.
Fuck.
And then the one thing my brother never did, because he knew he had been told by my dad that nobody touches me, whatever. Brothers stick together. I looked there, and they were wrestling on the floor. My dad, my brother, and him, and they're friends. My brother didn't even care. He just. That's why I think I'm loyal to my brother even to this day.
Yeah.
Little shit like that.
Right.
So he was fucking rolling around on the street. Fucking, they were fighting, bro.
Yeah.
And then like a paramedic was rolling by the street, and they pulled up.
Right.
And they gave me like a bunch.
Checked you out. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "Do you want me to take you to the hospital?" Because it was just gushing.
Fuck.
They gave me some towels they had on the ambulance.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Are you sure? Like, we're going right there right now. We could take you." Like now, if that would have happened now, bro, they would have taken me.
Oh, for sure.
But back in those days, like,
Yeah.
Are you sure? And, are you sure? And
It's so crazy.
And my cousin was like in shock too, because I was just gushing blood.
Yeah.
And then I mean, and then that's why I am with my kids like that.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. I was a little older. I was probably in 5th grade. My brother was in 8th at that moment. We were playing basketball after school. My cousin and I and 2 older kids. They were in high school thinking they were gangsters with their hat bag, Tigers at the time.
Yeah.
We're beating them up. Going up for a layup, this guy fucking pushed me from the back. Fucking rolled. I rolled, bro. I scratched. To this day, I think I have this scar here, my finger, and I had my face all fucked up like on the side.
Yeah.
My brother came and he came from the sideline, bro, and just tackled one guy, started punching him, and his friend jumped in. And then my brother was wrestling that guy, and then one of the guys took a little knife on him.
Oh shit.
And then I was like, and then like one of the people there came out. I was like, "Hey," and they ran away, those kids.
Yeah.
But my brother, see, those are the things that kind of paranoid me, that kind of make me the way I am with my kids.
Right.
You gotta be. I have to let them be sometimes. You know, there's things in the street that's gonna happen, especially because they're boys.
Fuck. It's rough, dude.
So
it's rough.
So that's why I say, but those moments made me a little tough now that I'm older. As I grew up, shit like that didn't faze me. Getting into a fight didn't faze me.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I need to do. Sometimes you know what, you gotta be a little
See,
rough.
This kind of comes. See, fuck. This is where it's hard, bro, because you know, like you just said, right? Your kid goes from a private school, and his first day in a public school, he gets punched in the face.
Yeah,
by a black guy.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Shit, man. You want to say it's bad luck, but God, come on. Like in the first day.
So say it. Why do you think it is?
I don't know, bro. To him, he was like, I don't know, bro. He was just sitting there, and the older kids thought it was funny.
So I'll tell you what I think it is. And whatever, I could be completely wrong, but this goes back to what we were talking about, like parenting and shit. And I think that, I mean, I don't know what public school you put them in, you know. I don't know.
Street.
But I do think that when how can I put this? Let me see. When families are like, when you're at a lower social economics, status, the way that you're brought up is a little different than when you're going, when you're going to a place where it's like higher.
It is higher class. I'm sorry. That's the way it is.
And the way that people are raised in those situations, it's not to resort to violence for the most part, from what I see. Yeah. Right? I'm sure things happen, right? In every scenario. Yeah. But I mean, based on what I see, like my kid tells me all the time, like there's no bullies at school.
Yeah.
He knows everybody. They have a little buddy program. Like, my kids have never had an issue with anybody bullying him, anything like that. And he doesn't go to a private school, but I did make sure to get him into a school that's like in a better neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're like, why? Why do we always strive to get our kids into schools in better neighborhoods? Because they're not, you know what? When you talk to the kids, bro, they're not fucking dirty mouths. They're not like, they come from good families where like, they have some kind of fucking foundation, like morals, like some kind of like proper upbringing. And then you got, kids over here saying puto. Like, what?
Exactly.
Like, what? Like, who are they hearing that from?
Exactly. Yeah.
Imagine, so that goes back to like, your economic status, your education, you know. So if you're in a household, most likely, right? Like, again, this is just the way I see things, right? This is not this fact, but just my opinion. You know, if you're in a lower economic status, you're probably under higher stress. You know, like, you probably can't communicate as well. Your relationships are probably not as well. You're probably, you know, like fighting. If you're fighting with your spouse, you know, the kids are seeing you're yelling at each other, disrespecting each other, puto, puta, this, blah, 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 or that puto, or you're just, you know, like, kids learn this shit at home, bro. So, you know, it's like, it's really tough. Like, for you versus like a family of parents who are like professionals, right? Yeah. Teachers, fucking, you know, whatever it is, you know, people that have careers and stuff. You don't behave that way in a professional status, in a professional position somewhere, right? For a corporation or whatever it is, for fucking whatever it is you do, right? UPS, like, maybe you guys act all crazy at the lower level, but I'm sure the drivers, when they're interacting with people on the day to day, not the other drivers, but with people, right? They're proper. They have to be respectful. Yeah. They have to be like, somewhat, not, you know, or even the higher ups. Yeah. I'm sure the higher ups have to be more. I'm
like that with the younger cats, bro. I still think they're a little immature, a little.
Right. So it's tough, bro. But it's the reality of things. But I would hate to have my kid go to fucking to this local school where he's at, bro.
You know, but that's the question.
Does it make me racist against my own people? No.
That's the choice that we make. That we could pull them out. We could put them at a different school. That's our choice. Yeah. Now this is where I ask the question: am I making my kids soft? Because I kind of had to like step back and I'm like, damn, dude, like, what would I've done? What my brother would have done? My brother would have just gone and fucking try to tackle two guys at once.
Yeah. But the way I see it is, like, if we could give our kids a better shot at life. Yeah. If we give our kids a better shot at life, then they don't have to go through those hardships.
But no, I totally understand, because I'm kind of like in the middle.
Yeah, I feel you.
Because they have to. I tell them, Gus, you have to stand up, man. If these people or whoever your friends are, or they're not your friends, whatever it is. Right. If that happens, you gotta say something, man. Right. I mean, but Dad, I'm gonna get in trouble with my teacher. You're gonna get in trouble at home, homie. Get that shit straight. You should fear me more than the goddamn teacher.
It's true.
But you know, those experiences that we had, that I went through, kind of made me tough. Right. Our society is more like what we are now. Right. We want to be the protectors. Right. We want to make sure that our kids are going to the nice schools. Right. We want to keep them in this bubble. And I think that's for me the problem, where the real world, we cannot not always be in that bubble. Just like, you know how you went out of your comfort zone to Guatemala? Right. And eventually it's going to make your kids tougher. It's going to make you mentally tough. That's the thing, mentally tough. Yeah. Society's not mentally tough anymore. We're losing that. Yeah. Or we've lost it. The younger generation, I think, has lost it. Right. Some people our society has lost it, bro.
Yeah, listen, I personally think that we're in a good place. I think that based on what you're telling me, right? You question yourself, right? You go back and forth, and I think that's a good place to be at. I think it's a good place to be at where you can see the right and also see the wrong, and then kind of just stay in between that. Because if you go far into one of those, right, you're gonna go farther back, and if you go farther into the bubble, then you'll probably end up like all these softies, like crazy softies, right? So we want to be somewhere in the middle, and so I think we're in a good place.
How do you feel about your kids like walking home? Have they ever walked home, or do you?
No, fuck no. They would never walk home.
See,
I wouldn't want them to walk home.
When is it the right time for them to walk home?
I would say to like, as boys
from school.
I mean, it depends on their physical development and stuff, because some kids like mature quicker than others, right? Yeah. Mentally and physically. So it just depends. So I would say maybe at an age where I saw that he was mature enough. So that could be high school or that could be junior high. It just depends. Like if I feel like, like for example, my brother Matthew, right? Yeah. He like developed really young. he was a big fucking kid at like 13, 14 or something, maybe even less, 12 or some shit like that. So at that point, I'd be like, well, motherfucker, if you want to walk home, go. Ain't nobody jacking you, you know, just be, what's up.
Yeah.
You got your phone, if anything happens,
But doesn't that kind of like, we hold them back just a little from the real world? When is it a good time for them to?
That's the thing, though. The real world is different for everyone. And I think our real world, our opinion of a real world is our experience of the real world. But I don't think necessarily that applies to everybody. Because, for example, right, I'll give you an example. Like, the real world could be like a soccer player, Messi, right? That could be the real world. What do you think he deals with? Like, I'm sure he deals with stress and shit like that, but he's not dealing with like stupid motherfuckers.
Well, now. But when they're young and you're competing,
right. So when
they
was
learn
young,
to compete.
well, they have to compete,
So
especially
you're-
he's been in an
you're-
academy, right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
because you're grinding.
competition.
Yeah,
Right.
you're gonna
For
have
sure.
tensions. My kids don't
For
know
sure.
what. Look, my kids play sports and they don't understand what it means to compete.
To compete, right.
They like, oh, it's fun, la la la.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I tell somebody like that what
Yeah,
it
no.
means to compete,
But
bro.
some kids have it and some kids don't. Some kids just naturally have that competitive nature, right? Where they just want to win. They're like, I've seen kids where like you don't even have to fucking tell them to. They just like
They're
like
aggressive
what the
by
fuck?
nature.
Like,
yes.
They just want to win. And then there's kids that are like,
Well, see, that takes me to the next topic.
we all get trophies.
Exactly. You just hit around the spot.
Yeah.
Because our sports toughen them up. I'll be honest with you. I love sports because of that. Right. If I can't show them street smart, if I can't show them to be tough at home, sports will get you tough, bro.
But here's the thing. Do you think, let's just say, right? Do you think everyone, let's just take like the NFL, for example. I'm sure like a lot of those dudes come from the streets, right?
Majority of them.
The majority come from the streets. And so maybe being rough got them there. Yeah. Right? Like they wouldn't have gone there if they weren't rough.
That's because no other option.
But there are guys who that didn't live and deal with, and for example, right? Let's just say like, I'm just, because I know about Tony Romo, but let's just say like anyone that's been in the fucking Cowboys lineup, I feel like as a quarterback, right? Like I feel like they're all like come from like higher families and shit, right? Like middle class families.
Those are the Mannings.
They don't strangle, right? The Mannings, right.
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't think that they probably struggled half as much as any of the other motherfuckers.
Not financially.
Right. Or maybe even mentally. Sure, they have to be competitive, but they also look like they're way more just like skillful and tactful, not necessarily competitive. Like the Mannings, they didn't look like that.
Yeah.
But the point I'm getting across is that for us, the way that we were brought up, it was like our option to survive or the most likeliness, way for us to survive was to be tough, because that's what we saw around us everywhere. But I do think that, as a parent now, it's not necessarily about being soft, or growing them up soft. But I think if they can grow up like the Mannings, what would you rather your kid grow up?
Oh, of course.
Like the Mannings or like the other dudes?
Oh, hell
right.
Yeah. The Mannings. But I'll tell you this.
And that doesn't mean the Mannings having a fucking amazing life.
No.
That doesn't mean they're any like less prepared for the world. It's just their worlds were different.
Yeah. But let me go back to the mentality of sports, though.
Right.
Even though you may not become a fucking world-class athlete or whatever.
Right.
But the mentality is going to change. And I'll be honest with you. Yes, and I would say jiu-jitsu, karate, MMA, they understand what I'm talking about. And the reason I say football is because I know.
Right.
I thought I was tough when I played football. Before joining a football team, I thought I was tough, bro. Got into fights, a lot. Sports and football, it's a different type of fucking toughness, bro. It's a mental toughness, not just physical. It'll fuck with you here.
Mental, yeah.
This is where you get fucked.
Or you get tired. I'm sure there's plays where you're running, you're like tired as fuck, you're beat, maybe you're hurt. And then you still have to push another fucking half, or quarter.
Yeah, so and the reason I say football because I could relate. I mean, I played, and like I said, I thought I was tough until I got run over, and like, holy shit, that hurt. Have you ever been punched? It's like a boxer. You ever been punched? You like, oh yeah, has a goal until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Right.
what, and I say it because I was the one that got run over a couple of times my first year, and I was like, and I kind of debated quitting. I was like, what the fuck is this for me? It's hard, bro, because you go through the ups and downs when you play sports, specifically football, because there's guys that are bigger than you, there's guys that have been playing a lot longer than you, and so you're trying to learn. And then the other thing, football's not just physical, it's a mental thing. You got playbooks, you gotta know the positions, shit goes here, everywhere.
Yep.
It's proven that kids are playing less football now. Why? Yes, it's a tough sport. Yes, it's tough on the head. And yes, there's parents that don't want their kids getting hurt. I want to read something to you, bro, on that. And that probably be one of my last ones, just because, it hit me to the bone, bro, because I feel like this, and I'm one of those parents that I want to keep my kids healthy. It's one of the reasons I haven't put my kids in football. If you know anything about me, I've coached football, I played football. My mentality is still football. I remember
you in a conversation also disagreeing with them like not wearing helmets or something like that.
Yeah, and fuck, dude, it's a hard thing. And so this is a quote that one of the ex-football players put, I think, but I just want to read this before we leave. And it says, you should encourage your kids to play football, not because it's hard. Too many kids are not playing it because it's hard. Listen, it's tough to wake up in the summer mornings and go to practice, knowing other kids are sleeping in. It's tough to put on pads and a helmet in 95-degree weather. Other kids are in pools and your legs are shaking from exhaustion. It's hard blocking, tackling, hitting kids who are bigger, stronger than you, only to leave practice with a dozen bruises just to come back at it and do it again tomorrow. But guess what? Life is hard. Life is tough. And your kids will be a lot more prepared to take on from the lessons you learned from football. Encourage them to play football because it is hard. And there is no success in life without hardship. And I truly believe that, because it's not just football. It's in sports. That's the thing with sports. It toughens you up.
Well, that's the thing. It's life too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what he says. Even though I read it, I mean, I don't know if I read it wrong. I'm telling you, I need my fucking glasses. I should have brought them out.
Yeah.
But what he said there, I truly believe it toughened me up about something. Little shit doesn't faze me. Little shit, I'm not gonna go out there and cry about little bullshit. I'm like, fuck it. Right. Or I am a that parent. I am, but you know what? I'm in the middle now. I got kids. I'm no longer that big tough guy. I'm just this big fat guy now. And my kids, I am that helicopter dad. Mom is the same.
Yeah.
And so the question that we I asked you, are we soft? Are we making our kids soft? And we're gonna leave it there just cause fuck, dude. I mean, what do you think? How is it our fault?
I don't know. We'll find out sooner or later.
It's a hard thing, right? Because if we were by ourselves, we're like, fuck, motherfuckers are soft, blah, blah.
Good, yeah.
But
yeah, man, yeah. That is the question. I don't know. I think for me it kind of falls back to, it just depends on on the type of life that you live, and or the cards that you were dealt as a kid, right? You don't get to choose those cards, and so you only know so much as a parent, right? Like you can only really do what feels right. And so I don't know if I don't know if soft is the right word. I don't think we're raising them to be more soft. I think we touched on this on another podcast.
Smarter, I think.
I think it's also smarter because they're not aware of certain things. They don't get into less trouble. I think I told you the one time where my kid was at a store and some kid said something dumb to him in front of me and he just ignored him and like we just left, right? Yeah. Versus like what would have been the alternative back in the day? Like
go whoop his ass,
punch him, and then like for what? So it's kind of like, well, did he need to be hard? Well, was he soft? No, he wasn't soft. Was he? He was smart, and he didn't even realize it. And I think maybe in us thinking that we were hard, this might be something that might really fucking get everyone. And the more we think we're fucking hard, the less we might actually be, bro.
Yeah.
I think, I think I don't know if it was this one Navy SEAL guy said it was like, dude, I don't give a shit how much people talk to me. People can talk about my wife, can talk about my mom, they can say whatever they want. They don't know me. They're not gonna get anything on me. Like the moment you put your hand on me, then we have a problem, right?
Okay.
So, so I don't know.
But see
I don't know. I'd rather my kid be the fucking, the Mannings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd rather be able to give my kid that type of life. And then, if any fucking thug motherfucker comes around and tries to give him a tough time, he just brushes it off like, all right, bro.
But to have that mentality, But to have that mentality, like you said, like the army guy,
right?
You have to work on it, bro.
Well, yeah, but it's a different breed. But I think we can relate to that. You can relate to that. So I think it's easier for us to relate to that than it is the other. Yeah. Right? So we feel like this is like, fuck, you want your kid to be like this because for us, that's strong. For us, this is what we know. This is what we like, what we can relate to our kids with if they were like this, versus like if you saw your kid, for example, let's say your kid's older, right? At like 15 and he's at a store and some kid calls him a little bitch and you just see him walk away. You're going to be like, fuck that fool. You let him call a bitch. What? Oh, back in my day, I would have whooped his ass. Well, it don't matter. You know what? Your kid's actually a bigger man for just being able to walk away from it than letting some little bitch that knows nothing, that just wants to run his mouth, right? Call him something and then get a reaction out of him. But I think that's how things were back in the day, and I don't think that's how things need to be. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. So I had this question. No, actually not a question. I think I said it in other podcasts before in other episodes, and it's Adam Carolla saying, "Are we as parents?" Because he was kind of like doing what we're doing. Are we raising a bunch of kids that are pussies?
Yeah.
He said it like that, and he's like, the reason he says that is because our parents were nonsense, fucking hit you in the head, get up, do this, chores, go and mow the lawn, throw the trash.
Right.
We're not doing that anymore. We're doing it for them. So what the fuck who are we raising? We tell them we love them. My parents didn't tell me that, right. But look, it worked out.
Right. And also, I think too that, I don't know because we were kids growing up, right? But now you hear of all these stories about kids suffering from fucking depression and anxiety and all this shit.
Oh, shit.
And it's like, wait, I don't know the situation, right? Yeah. I don't know the situation, but if we are raising soft kids, so then at the first moment of like what? Not feeling love or appreciation or, accomplished, you just get depressed. Yeah. And like, so that might also be a thing, but then that's where you have to, where I told you earlier, where I think that's probably a good, balance to have, where you're going back and forth, right? And always questioning, like your parenting, like, yo, this is not cool. And then you need to go back and reflect, yo, okay. All right. Like, like you said, you don't hit them when you're emotional, right? Yeah. Like shit like that. But sometimes, you got to give them a little, hank in the pank, bam, like, little motherfucker, stop crossing the line.
And it's just tough with boys. I'll be honest with you. If you have boys, it's tough. They're rugged, a little rough around the edges. Some of them, my youngest. But yeah, different personalities. My youngest wants to play football. My oldest doesn't even want to touch one.
I think we have it easy though, bro, compared to having girls.
Little different. You have to.
Switch
it to the other side, more soft.
I think girls are more emotional. I think, I don't know, not to say the boys aren't, but conversations I've had with parents and stuff.
Yeah, Dupree.
Just in general, Dupree's on the time. Yeah, maybe not. I don't think in the beginning I think in the beginning it's harder to have boys. I think like before they get to like,
well, look at them.
Like,
you hear them?
Yeah, but see, they're just like having fun, and everything, right? Like they're all about fun and stuff. Yeah. But I seen like my little nieces and stuff, and they're like, girls are like, let's say boys are bad, girls are evil. Like the girls are like little divas, and then they start like, getting emotional and all this shit and boyfriends and all that and like shit.
Don't worry, I'll be back. Daddy got this. Daddy got this, eh?
Yeah, versus with your boys, with your boys is like,
go fix it yourself.
Go brush your teeth, and go to bed. Yeah.
Well, this is what I tell everybody. And I tell there's got to be some soft side, and let's meet up in the middle.
Yeah.
But some. I tell my kids all the time. I tell my wife, like, let them be a little. They gotta be a little rough here, and then we put them together, and it's a balance.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we gotta push them, and not to be soft. Don't care what that guy said. Who cares?
Right. That's true.
I am like that. Maybe it just. And I say it's a different generation, but it's the way we're raising our kids too. Society has become like that, soft. Look at Dupree, soft, crying out there.
Yeah, man. Dupree's a whole different
Dupree,
animal.
Call me, Dupree.
Call us Dupree. We're gonna have a.
Well, I'll give you the mic. Do you got 1 minute on till Dupree? Remember we have that segment on Dupree.
Oh, segment on Dupree.
10-second rant. Go.
I don't know.
Nah, I'm kidding, Dupree. Dupree, you know what? When I met Dupree, he was a soft guy, but now he looks a little rugged. He might look it, but he's still big. You know what?
I don't know. Big what?
He's a big teddy bear underneath all that. I'm gonna just leave it there. Thanks, Josh. My name is Gus.
Always good being.
This is the Everything Goes podcast, guys. Remember to catch us on the Everything Goes podcast on all social media outlets. Remember Instagram, all that stuff. And catch us on the Everything Goes podcast, Google, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere you guys listen to your podcast on. Remember to rate on Apple Podcast and on Spotify now, I think. Somebody told me that you could rate us on Spotify, so rate me.
Oh, shit. Nice.
That's it. And,
nice.
Remember, guys.
Who's this guy? I'll leave it with, who's that Navy SEAL guy that works out, always says, go hard. Stay hard. Or something like that.
I don't know that guy.
Anyways, yeah. Don't be soft, little bitches, everyone.
Well, there's this one guy that, now that you said that, there's this one guy on Instagram. He's like, Dupree, you know, fucking if you're going to be a man or something like that, or if you have to be rugged, run through a wall, come on, do it. Be a man. Be a man. He has all these sayings all the time. Yeah. I know you heard it because I send them to you guys sometimes.
Sometimes,
Yeah, and so that's it. If you have boys, let them be boys. Let the boys be boys. Come on, be a man.
Stay hard.
Yeah. All right, guys. Don't be soft. And I will catch you guys next time. My name is Gus. Peace.